Hello, as you can see, I'm very excited today because I have my husband here with me to share with you our experience, how we walk through that process of finding a life partner, how we actually practice the different principles I've been discussing about finding a life partner for the past weeks. It was not all a perfect journey, so we'll be sharing with you both our strengths and our weaknesses and how we handled both and how God led us through. Now we are here to share all the gist of it with you. So join us in this discussion and you may pick one or two things to your own benefit. Right away, I would like my husband to start sharing with us how he prepared himself before he started looking for a life partner. Which things did you do as a way of preparing yourself before you started looking for a life partner?
Okay, thank you so much, my lovely wife, for the opportunity. I've been following up the various past presentations that you have been presenting on this topic of finding a life partner. It's been a very exciting, very inspiring presentations that I believe people who have been able to go through those videos, if they are really serious in picking up those principles, I believe so much that they won't make those mistakes that some of us made along the way because maybe we didn't have the opportunity to have somebody close to us that was intentionally, trying to be more formal in making these things be known to us before time. Some of us had to learn some of the things in a hard way, but thank God for grace, and God was able to see us through. Finding a life partner was one of the most difficult things that I used to be afraid to think of in my journey of life. I remember some of my very close relatives used to always tell me, am I sure I'm going to ever get married? Because I used to just live my life like there was nothing that really matters about anything that has to do with marriage. I remember my very good brother Renee used to say, we are going to make sure that we do ministry, we do all the schooling, then finally, before we ever think about marriage. I remember when he told me that he was considering praying for a lady that he was thinking of getting married to. I asked him that what had happened to him. I actually have to ask that question of what had happened to him. Because to us, throughout the process, we were so busy with many things that really made us not to be thinking a lot about issue of marriage. But we forgot to know that that is going to come one day. That is something that we have to prepare. Be ready for it when that thought comes or when that time comes. We forgot about that. So that was just the error. I just knew that when the time comes, I'm going to find myself in a relationship and I'll get a lady and go through counseling. From counseling, I will get married and stuff like that. But little did I know that it will be a whole process for me getting to even know when to even get into that relationship and even having to know if that lady is the person that God is really designed for, even knowing how to manage the relationship through. At the same point in my life, those thoughts started coming in my mind about having a relationship, and I just felt okay, because this is a thought that come in my mind, let me just go ahead and find a lady that I love and a lady that fears God and propose. I had to propose, and in that first experience I discovered that there were many things that I had to build in my life. I needed to learn how to manage my emotions. I needed to know what I should even be doing in that process. I also needed to know my personal vision and calling, and all of that. I found myself in a relationship without even thinking about all of that, and which of course, because those foundations were not yet there, it did not work out, and it was not a good experience. Of course, the one thing I knew was that I was sincere and I wanted the will of God. I had in mind that I won't force anything. If God starts closing a door very strongly, I will not force myself to get through. I was very sincere about that I wanted a relationship that will bring glory to God. And I told God before entering a relationship that if it is not His will, I should do everything beyond my ability to make sure that He stops it in any way. And if it is His will, He should give me the grace beyond my ability to be able to push it through. And I made up my mind to be very sincere with every relationship that I get into, to make sure that I don't hurt the person in question and I don't hurt myself in the process. Those are some of the things that I decided at the beginning. They were not the real things, but those were things that helped me, that maybe I did not have a lot of heartbreaks or breaking another person's heart in the whole process. And before even getting into a relationship, I already told myself that I will not break any lady heart by telling the person this proposal I made was an error, but the lady will be the one to tell me that she is not comfortable in the relationship. So I told myself, as I'm getting to this process, if I realize that it is not the will of God, I will pray to God that God should reveal to the lady in question. Let her see and even be the one to come up to say no, she's not interested again in the relationship. I had to pray that prayer, and God actually answered that. So when I had those experiences in the first 2 marriage proposals that I tried, I wasn't happy about it, but of course, we thank God because of those principles. I didn't end with any issue. We ended well. It was not like we ended like enemies or all of that. No, we ended well. We saw that this was not the will of God. Both the ladies and myself were able to see clearly, and we accepted, and that was it. And we parted in very good terms. Now I have to ask myself this question: what is really the issue that I am not getting? So that caused me to realize that I needed to actually prepare myself in getting into that journey, so that I don't have to keep repeating mistakes, the same errors and all of that. So I had to take off 2 good years just to study on relationship building, how to find a life partner, and the things that I need to do. So I went into a serious process of reading about how to go about it, and I discovered that one of the things that they recommended was that I need to be able to build my emotional stability. You know, us young people were like, some people say we're like dry firewood. You know, you just put a little fire there, can burn to a point where you never have charcoal. So there was a need.
Only ashes.
You have only ashes. So that's one of the things that I learned. That I need that for you to get into a relationship as a young man, you needed to really be able to work on principles on how to guide my emotions and have self-control over your emotions. Because like it or not, you will face it. But if you don't face it, maybe you are having problems. You should go and check yourself in the hospital if something have done with your emotions or your hormones. That was something that I learned, that I have to prepare myself on that, so that I don't end up, destroying the purity of a relationship along the way. I have to spend time building principles and understanding how I can be able to go through a relationship to be married in purity. Another thing, they talk about purpose. I need to be very clear with my purpose. So I have to start engaging. I have to look for mentors to teach me how to understand my purpose, and I have to develop my purpose, and I'm very clear about it. That this will help me to really be able to choose a lady, not just a Christian, but somebody who will actually be in line with what God has called me to do. And I also learned that something I needed to build in my life personally was that I had to develop a very clear understanding of how I am going to accomplish the things that God has called me to do. It's not just about knowing. And lastly was that I should start doing those things. I need to be involved in doing those things. There should be signs of it that I'm actually doing them. It's not just having it in paper or having it in my mind, but I should start working in them. I should start doing them and seeing it clearly and confirmations along the way, so that the lady in question that comes can be able to see the evidence. It will not just be something that she'll be struggling to really figure out if this is what I'm really saying, if
it can help you or not.
Yeah, if it can help me or not. So these are like 4 key things that I had to take 2 years. I was not in any relationship. I choose not to even keep my mind. If a thought comes across my mind about relationship, I'll just push it aside during those 2 years, because I wanted to develop myself. I wanted to pray. I wanted to understand. And after those 2 years, when I prayed and I decided not to really get into a relationship now again, that is when God opened my eyes, and I actually found a wife in my friend at that time, who had been around me for a very long time. I was not seeing it, but it was after that preparation period, understanding all of this, that finally I tried and had to find her.
Thank you so much for sharing. In fact, this is the summary, because we are trying to keep it short. I'll be telling very little about myself because you've heard a lot about me, but today let's focus more on him. So the next thing we want to really understand is, how did this preparation help you to date well?
Like I said, when you don't prepare, obviously there are 2 dangerous things that you are going to face. One is that you may meet the right marriage partner, and because you have not prepared yourself on how to date well, dating well meaning how to give her the opportunity to understand who you are, and also getting to understand the person in question, you may end up spoiling the relationship. You think maybe it is the person in question that's the wrong marriage partner, but simply because you don't know how to date well. You don't know how to date well. Dating well means how to be able to create that environment that will help that lady in question to know you and to accept you for who you are, not because of some lies that you may have put around yourself, or some false truth about yourself, and also the opportunity for you to actually know who that lady is. When I finally got to a point where I prayed and discovered that my wife was was a lady in question, everything was different from the previous one, because I had to do a lot of background check on her. But for the former ones, most of them I did not do any serious background check. I still had that mindset, okay, I'll get to know her. And you know what, most of the time when guys say they want to get into a relationship with a lady to find out that she is the right marriage partner, from the lady, the truth is that they will always propose when they have not even gotten conviction. Emotions will push them to quickly propose to the lady when they have not even gotten all the information and the details that they could have gotten, or the facts finding. That's why you see a guy will just get up, she will be saying that she's dating this lady, but meanwhile she has already proposed. By the time to ask the girl, you say, oh, I'm praying considering this lady for marriage. You ask the lady, have you already? We say yes. And you are wondering, why do you propose when you are still finding out? Because the truth is, you have not yet prepared yourself. When I got to know prayed privately and understood, God revealed a lot of things about my wife. I never spoke to her. I was just praying in my heart and doing background check, finding out from people some things I didn't yet know about her. Though she was my friend and she was in the Bible study that I knew, but at the point of relationship, there are other things I need to go beyond, because knowing her as a friend, the things I don't need to even bother myself so much about her. But getting to a context of where she would be coming into my life as a wife, I had to find out a lot of background information from people that have known her personally for some years. Even to a moment that I could ask her questions, indirectly trying to get information from her without her knowing, without me telling her that I'm asking those questions because I'm interested in her. I was getting all those background checks, all of them, until when I got the information, I was so sure that with what I've gotten about her from the background, it's a very clear support to what I've prayed in my heart to God, and God has revealed to her to do. That is when I move on to the point of proposing to her, because I was at least 80% sure that she is just the right person, not because of what she have told me, but because of what I've gotten from the background. And throughout that period, I was so very close to different people that have known her during the period I did not know her, even from her brother, some of her sister brother I knew. I could get information the way I want. You can get it if you are actually intentional. But I never ever revealed my intention to her within those periods that I was doing my background check. And I did not get too close to her because I was always struggling to make sure that I don't get to a point where I will let the cat out of the bag when I'm not even gotten enough information that can be able to protect me and also protect her. Because the reason why I was doing it was because I didn't want to find myself being in a situation where I want to propose to her, then because of checking out, I discover things that are not very good for me. Then I go and start telling her, no, I'm not more interested in this. That was a principle I already have in the background. That's what I have to do. So finally, when I got the information, I moved on. I called her, and after having an opportunity, I had to tell her that truly I've been praying all of this time, and it's so clear to me that she is the right person that I feel that I can be able to get her. And in fact, compared to people in relationship, it was a very strong conviction in my mind. It was not just like a witch thought. And if she could ask me questions of why I think so, I would have been able to give her a lot. And I did that. I would give her a lot of clear facts and a lot of things along with it, certainty that I believe that she is the right person. I just want to tell you this: if a guy comes to propose to you for marriage and you ask this guy, what really make you think that I'm the right person? If you are a lady, listen to what you say. You will know those who have actually gotten enough knowledge about you, the lady, and those who they are just coming, is their emotions that are pushing them to come and say something to you.
Yeah.
So I was very aware of that, and by the time I was going up to talk to my wife, I was sure. I have spoken to my mentor in the background, and she have given me ideas. I've spoken to some of my peers about it. They have given me some ideas. I've spoken to people, some of her friends even. Some of her very close friends that they became most of them became my friends directly because I was always getting to them. I got information about. So there were a lot of things. That when I met her, I could tell her, okay, I believe that you are the person that I would like to spend my life with because of this. This is my vision, and I've seen so and so things that you have been doing over your life. I've seen this. I came here, I checked this. I've seen this. I could say things about her that maybe she was even surprised of how I ever got them. I could tell her things about her family a lot of things about her family, even her siblings and things around that I've checked and all of that. She was really surprised about it because I was very sure about it. So that was one key way of preparing that got me to that point. And the next thing is, in the course of dating, I know that purity was a priority. We needed to date in purity. Because it was obvious, the more you get to know somebody and you're communicating with the person, there's what we call communication intimacy. Your heart grows together. In fact, intimacy is built through communication as you get to know somebody more. So I knew, but in the previous relationship that I had, I did not have principles and things that maybe will guide me around pure. I just know, okay, I'm a child of God. There is no thing that will cause me to even think about maybe sex or any form of sexual immorality towards a lady, even in a relationship and things like that. But that's not true. When you get in there, then you realize that there is a carnal part of marriage, a relationship geared toward marriage. There is a carnal part of it that even no matter how spiritual you are, if you don't have speed breaks around your life that you are intentionally built and you are put down, you that sin, you will find yourself in trouble. And that's why I'm always surprised to hear that, oh, this sister, that this brother that you used to know that is very holy, even talked against sin and sexual immorality, went into a relationship and got into sexual immorality before marriage. It should not surprise you if you are not yet there. When you get there, then you realize that the fire there is very hot. Like you don't have speed break and you have a fire extinguisher around you to blow that fire when it is coming up inside of you. Then you will find yourself into the same situation. That's a reality. If nobody tells you that, then they are not telling you the truth. So I already had a principle in my life. I remember the day I met my wife. She doesn't know. The ring that I gave her, I call it a purity ring. I gave her a ring. I told her that this ring I'm giving you is not an engagement ring. I'm giving you this ring as a purity ring. So anytime I am with you and you realize that I'm trying to misbehave, I'm getting out of my mind, just show your finger. Then that ring will help me to remember that I've made. Because I told her, the covenant I'm making with you is that I will never kiss you and will not get into any sexual immorality until I have gone to the altar. My first time to kiss you will only be when we are on the altar. And the first time we'll ever enjoy anything about sex will be only after we have gone to the altar and we are done our wedding. That's when we'll ever do. So I'm giving you this ring, not, people call it engagement ring, but I call it, in my context, was a purity ring. That was my own speed break, or what I call fire extinguisher. So that's why most of the time when we were to meet and she comes there, she used to be very surprised, very angry.
I've never understood until today. I used to just wonder that, what was it about the ring that wanted me to wear it everywhere?
But I told you that it was a purity ring, and you could have understood. And I said, if each time you see that misbehaving, maybe say, okay, maybe I'm with you and I'm way out of my mind and things like that, just show me that ring. It was like, it will bring me a reminder of the covenant that I've made at the beginning of that relationship, that I don't want to kiss you, I don't want to get into any sexual immorality with you until after marriage. And that guided us, that actually kept us. We decided that we will not be meeting in closed places. We made our mind, wherever we had a visit, we had to be in the open air. And I decided to tell her that we will meet, there will be books that we are going to be reading. So she was having a book to read.
There was always an agenda though.
There was always an agenda. We were not listening to an idle thing. But we had objectives to finish certain marriage books. So each time we meet, we are meeting to discuss those things, and it kept our mind together. So the more we know ourselves, that's why the edges of sex, trying to kiss and things like that were coming over. Because of that consciousness of the speed breaks and the fireproof that I put around, they helped to be able to go through. And I was very proud of myself, that I'm proud of my wife, that by the time we were getting married, my first time to kiss her was only on the altar. And the first time for me to have any sexual relationship with her was only after marriage. We did that throughout that period we were going through. But I tell you, if I did not prepare myself, maybe we would have misfired within that period. But we thank God for that particular grace that God was able to see us, to see us through.
That's how it went. And yes, he has said a whole lot, and it's all true. I witnessed it firsthand. Before we wrap this up, what is a key advice you want to give a young lady out there now looking for a life partner, and one key advice you give a young man out there now looking for a life partner?
Well, like I said, we are speaking in the context of Christian relationship. People in the world, they do it anyhow because they know if it doesn't work, they will skip to another one, they can divorce. But if you are that person that wants to please God in your marriage relationship, to see marriage as something that is God who instituted it, not society, and you want to get through in the Bible way, I will tell you, as for the men, please don't get into finding a life partner without you knowing your purpose, being able to develop emotional stability. Because this emotional stability, you even need it after marriage. There are some of you that want to get married because you don't want to fall into sexual immorality. If you don't work on that, that's a character issue. It is not something that has to do with marriage, because after marriage you will still be facing the temptation of sexual immorality. And there are people who get married and they instead discover their purpose when they are already married, and they see that they are with a lady that does not match, or the lady in question is not even prepared to get into the direction of their vision. And that's some of the things that bring a lot of problem maybe in some marriages. I remember some of the relationship that did not happen was because the lady saw the way I was very passionate for missions. By that time I was spending most of my time in the rural area. Christmas break I was never in town. I would be in some villages projecting Jesus' films and stuff like that. I was so passionate about it. So she now knew that the way I am passionate about this thing, this is actually the life that I'm going to end up living. And she told me no, she thinks that she cannot be a very good wife for me because the vision and the direction in which I'm going, she doesn't think it will be possible. Because she saw me doing it. Maybe if I just said that thing on paper, she would have just come along with me without knowing the gravity of what I'm getting myself into or what she's getting herself into. Your goal is to help the lady to accept you from a knowledgeable point. You're not trying to convince her to accept you. That is not what marriage proposals are for Christians or men who have integrity and they are responsible. My goal was that I wanted to help my wife to accept me from a point of knowledge, not to persuade or convince her to accept me. No, that should never be your agenda. Because there's some men that they will use charming word, they will tell you how to go and propose. No, don't do that. You have to be sincere. Help her, give her enough knowledge. If she is misunderstanding you, clarify her, so that by the time she's saying yes, she really knows what she's saying yes to. If you convince her and you deceive her and you lure her and she accepts, you will suffer in the relationship. Because when she comes in, you see the reality and she say, no, this is not what I understood about. And that's how she can become very stubborn to her calling. And for the girls, don't say yes to a guy without you having done a lot of check and you know if that guy really understands you. Don't just say yes. Be sure that guy really knows you. That as he's proposing to you from a knowledge, not from emotions or from just some sort of desire to fulfill the urge of getting married. You should be very sure this guy have knowledge of me and this guy have conviction on what he's actually getting into. He knows me, he knows my weaknesses, he knows my strength, and he actually sees clearly how we can be able to merge together. And you have a clear understanding of that guy's calling. Because when you get into marriage and these guys are doing on things that you do not foresaw, you will be in trouble, because you need to get to prepare yourself and also prepare your future before getting to that marriage. You accept certain things that you are going to cope with. If you are able to do this, I am telling you, I think we are going to minimize the rate of heartbreaks that we see many young people going through out there. So guys,
or even divorce in marriages.
So guys, please don't propose to a lady if you are not gotten enough information about her. You will break her heart. You will break her heart. A girl is not a project. It's not a research that you want to get into, then you are finding out. No, first of all, get the research
done. Find out before you get into. Don't get into before you find out. Wow. Thank you so much. I think he has shared a lot, and we thank God, and I pray that this will be a blessing to your life and you'll be able to get into a wonderful relationship with your suitable partner and wonderful marriage. Thank you.